What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode number 9, Millionaire Voices, episode number 9, with the legendary Nick Hicks. He's the co-founder of PER4ORM Sports and the co-founder of Batch Cookie. Today, I have the pleasure of digging in to his mindset, seeing what it takes to build his large companies and where he's going, and then just having a real conversation with another real one. So without further ado, welcome Nick Hicks to Millionaire
Appreciate you, Danny.
Voices.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
You know, Nick, it's funny. I was thinking about this earlier. I got to go to your gym, Elevate, 2014, when you just opened up, and I just want to say to you real quick was that I knew you were going to be successful because I saw the love, the passion, the skill set, the confidence, the patience, and a great attitude. And when I saw that, I was so excited to see the future,
I appreciate
and
it.
I knew of you. So I just wanted to say that to you, and
I appreciate it,
before we
man.
start this show. And I want the audience to really understand who you are. So Nick Hicks, tell us a little bit about where you come from. I heard that you were a middle school and high school legend, and I'd love to
Yeah.
know about your beginning.
So, born and raised, Pembroke Pines, Florida. Right here. Played all sorts of sports growing up. Whether it's football, baseball, basketball, ran track, but obviously football was my love. I loved the game. And then growing up, yeah, in like little league, I was pretty good. And then high school, I was pretty good. But then I hit, a couple unfortunate scenarios where I tore my ACL twice in high school. Which kind of spun me into this repetitive realm of recovery and rehab as opposed to training.
Hmm.
And that kind of got me into training.
And I want to really slow it down because I want people to really just dig in to understand your mindset. So you're growing up, you're playing sports, you're really good at sports, and you had this injury, so you faced your first obstacle. It sounds like.
Yeah.
But were you going for the league? Like, what was your mindset at that time?
Yeah, man. Of course, everybody wants to go to the NFL, right? That was the goal. And again, like my path was kind of leading towards that. I was a very good Little League football player. Sometimes Little League football players are good at Little League. They peak at 9, 10 years old, but then they don't get bigger. They don't get faster. Or they do get too large, and they kind of get hockey. And then they get into high school, and they're not as good. Then you got the other kids that are late bloomers that, okay, they're not that good in Little League, but they got to high school, and this kid, shows up as a sophomore. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. Like, he's a beast. So that guy he's the one that, kind of transitions from, not being so good to, okay, all right, he can play some ball. So I was on the flip side of that. I was kind of like the anomaly. I was really, really good in Little League, and then was really, really good in high school. But having a knee injury, at a young age as a sophomore in high school, and then not having the proper rehab and not having the proper training, 15 years ago, and re-injuring my knee again the next year. So having 2 reconstructive knee surgeries, by the time I was 16 years old, kind of, blew that balloon of the NFL for me, to be honest.
And you grew up in South Florida. You went to Heritage High School?
I went to American Heritage and Plantation.
Yeah, and they were considered one of the big dogs.
We were
in that
solid.
sport.
We were solid back in the day. Right now, they're like the perennial top dog in South Florida and in the nation. I think they've won, 5 state championships in the last 7 years. Like they're good. They've
Wow.
got a bunch of guys in the league from there. But when I was there, we were okay. We couldn't get over the hump of playing Chaminade Madonna, and Chaminade guys out there. I mean, you guys beat our ass every single year. But that was kind of our thing. We were good in the private school realm, but right behind Chaminade.
So, what position were you playing at that time?
I played quarterback, man. I was a
Okay.
5'8" quarterback. I was a run first, run second quarterback. There was no passing for me. We would call maybe 5, 6, pass plays a game, and that was about it. But I ran the ball a lot. I was more of a dual threat, more
That
on
Johnny
the running
Manziel
side. Dual.
style?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Actually, the nickname in high school was Vanilla Vic. So
okay.
the white Michael Vick. So that was it, man. That was my position. But then I knew I wouldn't play that in college because I'm 5'8", 5'8.5" with cleats on. So I had to switch positions. But unfortunately, so my senior year, I tried to switch over to receiver, but the quarterback that stepped in wasn't ready, and the first 2 games of the year were pretty bad. So I had to go back to quarterback.
Let me ask you this real quick. In a nutshell, what the game of football teach you?
Man, adversity, how to deal with adversity. I would say that's the biggest thing. Like I said, my entire career of football was riddled with injuries. And I always had a great mindset towards it. I was like, all right, well, this is just another obstacle I got to get over.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if anyone knows, but reconstructive ACL surgeries, it's anywhere between like 8 months to a year of recovery time. So you're
Mhm.
out the entire season. And you got to come back and you got to train and make sure that you're number one, not going to have the injury again, but you're also bigger, stronger, and faster than you were before. So it just it created this mentality that adversity is actually a pretty good thing.
Mm.
Adversity makes somebody grow. And as a sophomore, as a 15-year-old kid who had no idea what was going on, and having to do that back-to-back years, and it really shaped the way that I am because it made me have this no quit mentality. Like failure is not an option. We've got to get back out there.
Yeah, I seen you, in through social media, and what I know of you is that you've been a type of dude. It sounds like that, like when life comes, you just put a smile on it and you eat it all up and you just run right through it.
Yeah, man.
You wipe it off.
There's I just there's in my mind
Mhm.
there's a way to succeed,
Mhm.
and I just gotta find it. There's 1 million ways to fail. There's also a million ways to succeed. That's being a business owner, though. A lot of people start a business, they love what they're doing, but a little bit of adversity hits, and they clam up, and that's it. And they don't know how to get out of that hole.
No, thanks for saying that. And before we talk about your business and how you run it at a high performance, both figuratively and literally, is what'd you do after college? What was your move? Oh,
So,
I'm sorry. After high school, what'd you do after high school? What was your move?
so, after high school, I had a couple opportunities to walk on and play Division I football at a couple schools, but I went to a recruiting fair and there was Division I, Division II, Division III, and NAIA schools there. So all sorts of divisions and like categories of football to play at the college level, and I got a lot of attention from this one school called North Central in Chicago.
Mhm.
And I went on a visit out there and I loved it. And I was like, all right, this is where I want to go. I could have walked on to Florida State, could have walked on to FAU, could have walked on to Colorado State. Those are all preferred walk-on places. But I wanted to go to a place to where I could play right away. In my mind, again, I knew I wasn't going to go to the NFL. That wasn't my goal. It was just keep playing football for another 4 years and enjoy it. So I went to Chicago and I went to school out there. And it was funny. At first, I was a broadcast communications major. And I remember doing my first, so when you're a broadcast comm major, you have to either work in radio or television. And I was working at the local radio station, and it was the most boring thing I ever did in my life. I would press play for a song, then I would have to tell about the traffic, and then I'd just hit another song, and it was just terrible. So I remember came back for spring break my freshman year, and I was like, I got to change. This is not it. It just so happened that I went back to my high school to work out, and they had a strength coach there, his new guy, that wasn't there the year before when I was there, and he was training the team. And I saw a kid doing like a bad squat, so I kind of helped him with the squat form, and the coach had seen me, and he was like, hey man, what are you doing? What are you studying in school? And I was like, shit, I don't know, man. I was just studying broadcast communications, and now I have no idea. And he's like, well, maybe look into kinesiology and exercise science and training. I was like, oh, maybe. So that kind of sprung my brain, like, okay, maybe this is what I could jump into. But can you make money as a trainer? Like, do trainers make money? And like, do you have to be a business owner, like a gym owner, to make money? So, that's when I started to really, really think about this as maybe a future career. So then I changed over I called my academic advisor at college. I said, hey, that's what I want to do. And she was like, all right, sounds good. Boom. And that was it. And that's just how it changed, man.
And that's the shift. It sounds like you said so many things there that I really hope people grasp. But that, like, pretty much, first of all, you were just genuinely helping that dude out.
That's it.
You weren't doing it, I want to make more money, I want to do this. You were doing it, hey, because you wanted to help somebody.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, it opened a door for you, and because you crossed paths with the right person at the right time.
Yep.
And then you started your whole mentality shifted. Now, so after that you started to become motivated and passionate, because I consider you an expert now.
Yeah, so it was funny. I mean, I was 18 then. That was
Wow.
my freshman year of college. I was 18-year-old. It was spring break of my freshman year of college. I might have been 19, but I was young, After I changed over my major, okay, I came back home for that summer to train.
Mhm.
And it was like the same exact thing. I was in the weight room working out, and this guy was in there training the football team, and he's like, "Hey man, are you down for the whole summer? What do you got going on?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm here, and they're just trying to train and get right." He's like, "Well, if you want to help me out and kind of intern, you can train with me and my pros in the morning. So the next morning, I'm out there with Lito Shepherd, Asante Samuel, Channing Crowder, Javon Curse, like big names. And I'm just working out with these guys. And then in the afternoons, I'm helping him train people. So not only am I getting my body ready for my season, I'm getting my mind, okay, this is cool, man. This training stuff is actually really awesome. He's training all these different kids, and then he's got these pros, then he's got these one-on-ones, and I was just kind of helping him out, like assisting.
It sounds like, and I like to bring up this word during the show a lot, is it sounds like he became like a mentor.
He was. He's a mentor today. Him and I talk every single day. We talk all the time. He's a very, very close colleague in the industry with me.
And one thing I want to point out to people is that you took that internship per se, didn't think about how is it going to benefit you and make $1 million right there, and then all you want to do is learn, get better, like you said, get back to the season. So this became one of the best learning experiences.
100%, 100%. And knowledge is way, way more valuable. Sorry about that. Way more valuable than a paycheck.
Mm-hmm. So, and it is. And I always say potential power, and we all know you have to apply everything you learn. And it comes down to now you're 18, you finished the 4 years, and you're getting into the real world.
Yep.
And we're going to speed up a little bit now. I want to know, what was your next move into the real world?
So after I graduated, I'm going to kind of, being an entrepreneur actually started for me in college.
Okay.
I knew I wanted to be a business owner, and it's because of kind of what transpired when I was in college. So I always wake up early. I'm up every single day. It's 5:30 in the morning. It's just what I do. I wake up early. So I always had 8 a.m. classes in college. But I also wanted to make some money. So I was looking for a job, and I got a job at a local high school as a janitor to clean their locker rooms at 7 a.m. It was 7:45, then I'd go right to my class, and I would just make some money. So I always had some cash, unlike my other college buddies who had no money, and we would throw these parties at our house. So I lived in a house with like 5 other football players. It was a nice big house in like an unincorporated land in Illinois, like 2 acres of land, tree house, 100-foot long slip and slide. It was like a college party house, right? So we'd want to throw these parties, but we didn't know like who's got money, who can buy a keg. So I was the only one who had money. So I was like, you know what, I'll go buy 2 kegs, right? So I bought 2 kegs, and I created this entire operation, this business operation. I had guys that always worked the door that would collect the money. Those guys would then be able to drink from the keg for free. I had a DJ that I paid out of my earnings and so on and so forth. It got to the point to where, I was making so much money at the front door. We'd have 300 people at these parties every single night, and it was a Friday, Saturday night. Oh. And I'd come away with like $400 a night. And $800 a weekend for a college kid's a lot of money. You know what I mean? So I started making all this money and turning it more into more of a business operation. So I had an idea that, I was a big Captain Morgan drinker back in the day. That was my thing. I had an idea that, okay, if somebody brings a handle of Captain Morgan, they would be exempt from paying for the entire semester. They would have to pay the $5 at the door. So I thought, it was cool, because now I'm going to drink for free, because I'm not going to have to buy these Captain Morgans. I ended up getting like 30 handles. All these handles are just sitting in my room. So what am I going to do with this? So I went to the hobby store, and I bought a snow cone maker, and then hired somebody to make rum and Coke slushies inside the house. So now I'm making money there. And it was just, I always saw myself kind of being, a leader and having a business mind and trying to figure out ways to make more money and make an experience better and make something, more enjoyable. So, doing that for 2-3 years in college, I'm like, man, I feel like this is my passion. So I took an entrepreneurial class as a senior, and I loved it. It was probably one of my favorite classes that I took. And within this class, we had to design a business. And I basically designed a training company, and again, that was just where I got my first taste of being an entrepreneur. But when I graduated, obviously I was 21, 22 years old. I'm not just going to jump in and create a gym. I'm not just going to open up this place. If you're going to do that, you need to start to build a clientele. I can't open up a gym and have no members. You know what I mean? I had to build a brand for myself, build a name for myself. But I got offered an opportunity to be the head strength coach at St. Thomas University in Miami Gardens. So I took it, and I was there. I was training their teams, but they would also give me an opportunity to train clients outside of the college there. And I was also working for a company at that time, too, at Athlete's Edge. So I had a lot going on. I was doing a lot of things, trying to make as much money as possible. So that was it, man. I got right out of college, and I jumped right into the training scene. But again, in the back of my mind, I was like, man, I want to open up a gym. I want to have my own place.
It's funny you say that, and it was so inspiring what you said because I found a way to become an entrepreneur before the real world per se myself. And you just, first of all, you're doing a bunch of upsell. You had so many. My sister brought this up yesterday, but I say the word nuggets, it means
Yep.
like jewels.
Yep.
But you said
100%.
so many things that you were doing there that you're almost bobbing and weaving, but creating your reality. And your attitude, once again, was probably very believing
Yep.
in yourself. So you got to the real world. You started kind of putting your hands a little bit of everything, keeping your eyes open. You started getting better and stronger and understanding what you were teaching. So another thing I want to point out is that you said that you wanted to open a gym and you were supposed to be, so-called like everyone else, a professional athlete. You had more of a foundation to know which direction you can go. But a lot of other people who don't become professional athletes, there's many ways to monetize or find your passions within that type of space.
100%.
And then for you, you said that you wanted to kind of get some foundation laid before you took that big next step.
Yeah.
So what year did you make that big leap into becoming a business owner?
So 2 years, a little more over 2 years, I worked at the college as a strength coach and built up a good, clientele, a pretty good name for myself. I mean, when I was not at the college, I would go to Betty T. Ferguson, which was a little park in Miami Gardens, and I would train kids for free just to kind of expose myself to, expose these kids to what I offer. You know what I mean? And that turned into 3 kids to 5 kids to 10 kids, and all of a sudden I'm training 10 kids 3 days a week at Betty T. Ferguson, and it was in the hood. It's like in the heart of Miami Gardens. I'm the only white guy there. And these kids are like, man, this is great training. Coach, what can we do for you? I know we don't have any money, but what can we do? And I said, bring some friends and let them know it's $10 a session. And then next thing you know, next session, there's 5 new kids who all brought $10, and I had $50 now. I'd put $50 in my pocket from this session. And then that grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. And guess what? Now I'm at this field. I've got 30, 40 kids every single day.
Oh, wow.
It's like an operation. Everyone's talking about it, and it just spread like wildfire. So when that happens, then big names start to come, and then pros start to come, and it's just like, hey, what's going on over here? Like, let's
Got that buzz going around.
Exactly. And then after that, I was actually meanwhile, while all that was going on, I was training one of my former high school friends, and he had seen what I'd built at this little college. And was like, dude, you got to open up your own gym. And I was like, trust me, I know. Like, I want to. He's like, what's holding you back? And I was like, well, the funds. I don't have that money. He's like, well, what if I got the money? Let's go into business together. And I was like, all right, cool. So literally, boom. A month later, him and I signed a contract, and we opened up Elevate. His name's Mike Rafferty. So, him and I opened up Elevate, and it was great. I mean, we opened up Elevate, and before we even had one first fitness class, we already had 40 members sign up. So that's what I said, like, we had the members. That's why we did it the right way. We built this infrastructure, this rooted groundwork, and then started to build above the ground, And then Elevate was the first thing that was my baby.
And it was something that I've been a part of and really enjoyed my experience. Actually, it helped me push myself when I was really trying to get to the next level, and at the same time, just like any gym does, your mentality was something I gravitated to, and I want to be around that guy. You put something out into the atmosphere. You guys were heavy on IG at that time, but you put something out there and said, I want to see what these people are doing, and that's how I felt, to tell you the truth. And let's talk a little bit about that experience, like in the business ownership side. We'll go back into skill sets and what you learned with players and all the professional athletes you're working with now, but what was the experience building a company when you first started? You guys, you wanted to get an empty space. Talk us through the mentality.
So, the first gym that I opened, Elevate, I was not business mindset because I thought, all right, I have a business partner. Mm-hmm. He's going to be the business guy. I'm just going to train and be the face, and that's what I'm going to worry about. So Mike found the space. The space was actually owned by one of his family friends. I put together a list of equipment. Mike found it. Mike bought it. Like, he did all the business stuff to get the business going. And again, I was training and, promoting and, basically staffing and getting people to train, getting trainers to come, so on and so forth. When we actually opened the doors, man, it was great. We were busy right away. And I got so caught up into the training that I really didn't pay attention much to the business stuff, which, in, hindsight, I really should have. But again, everything happens for a reason, and I think that, Elevate was a great learning experience for me to catapult me into my next venture, right? So, I really wasn't so, behind the scenes with the business stuff. I was more so just training. And then I'd say 2 years down the road, Mike and I decided that we had different ideas and philosophies that we want to do with the gym. He wanted to make it more of a fitness-oriented thing, kind of like an Orange Theory, like let's make them smaller and more efficient and just pop them up everywhere. And me, I wasn't really about that. I was more of a culture feel, like a family type feel. And I also love the sports performance aspect. That's more of my passion than fitness. And he kind of wanted to just not really do that much, just make it more fitness. So we decided that, we both don't agree on this. Let's just go our separate ways. So I broke off from Elevate. When I broke off from Elevate, I was by myself. And now I'm like, all right, shit, what do I got to do? I got to, buy a website domain? Is that the first thing? Or is it an LLC? Do I have to go on Sunbiz? I think it's called Sunbiz. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, But I had some guidance. I had an attorney that I'd worked with, and then I also had a trainer that was with me at Elevate who was coming on as my business partner too, who had a lot of knowledge about it. So, but this time around, I was like, you know what? I got to be hands-on with the business aspect, because at the end of the day, this is my livelihood, right? I need to know all the working parts and all the little pieces that go into it. Elevate was a great experience for me to learn about being a business owner, but not how to be a business owner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're right. What I always tell people, and Jack Deloso last episode they were talking about like the pillars, right? You got your marketing, your sales, your operations, your finance, your legal and whatnot. But then you have the most important is the product.
Yep.
Right? The product or
Agreed.
the service. And you said it sounded like you were focusing on the product, the service, and then you were filling in some gaps. Like you said, you were being the face of marketing, and you were also recruiting, so it sounded like you were in sales. But at the same time, you have to understand how this business is moving beyond just the amazing products. And that keeps, that helps with scalability, and that helps with actually being able to carry out your vision without getting bottlenecked or stressed out with all the different hats you're wearing. So I completely understand with that. And I think vision is key. And I want to ask you as a business owner, all these different things, what do you think, what's the most important thing to you? You said just the culture and the product?
Yeah, culture. I think, especially in my business, in the gym business, sports performance business, really, it's very hard to find people that care, and my staff really cares, and about everybody. It's not just about a certain person or an aspect of the gym. It's just we just care about everything. My trainers go to their clients' practices. Not games, not tournaments. They go to their practices. They go to their birthdays. They go to their graduations. They take it outside of the gym. Like when we say family, we really mean family. And that's something that, you really can't teach somebody. They've got to have it. But once somebody has it and they see it somewhere, they gravitate towards it. I have 7 trainers on staff, or 5 trainers on staff, and then me and my partner, Zach. Everybody that is on staff has either interned for me or was a former client. So they know the ropes. They know what we do. It's not like some really, really good trainer from New York wants to come down and be a part of the squad. We probably wouldn't hire you just because you don't have the intangibles. You don't understand, how we operate, at a love level, really, you know what I mean?
The highest frequency, yeah.
Exactly, not just okay, I'm a really good trainer and I can train anybody, but do you really care about everybody? Do you care about your clients? So
that's so powerful, and once again, thanks for saying stuff like that, because it really shows that, like, when you take it to the next level, let's put all the money aside because you can't take it with you. The whole quote, the U-Hauls, not going to follow the hearse, is when it comes down to you're serving people, you really genuinely care, everything follows.
100%.
Everything comes to you.
It's easy.
It becomes a flow state. Now, I love those values that you breathe into your organization. Let's talk about PER4ORM now. PER4ORM, let's explain exactly what's going on with PER4ORM.
So PER4ORM, again, was the stepping stone away from Elevate. And, and it was the second gym that I opened up, and it's what I've had now for 5 years. I have a business partner, Zach Cardone, who was my intern at St. Thomas University in Miami Gardens. He was my intern there, and I brought him to Elevate, and then I said, hey, look, man, I'm opening up this Perform place. And he was like, awesome, dude, that sounds great. He's like, to be honest with you, I don't think I can really be a trainer anymore. And I was like, well, that's cool, I understand. You're going to be my business partner. And he was like, oh, shit, all right. Really, let's go, man, let's go. So, I always had a plan that he would be my business partner just because him and I, we mesh very well. We have great synergy. We're always on the same page, and we respect each other's opinions and values and direction. If I think we want to go this way and Zach thinks we want to go this way, then we meet and we talk about it and we figure it out. You know what I mean? It's been one of the better relationships that I've had, with friends and in business. So Perform is a 5,000 square foot facility in Davie. We actually just moved out of an 1,800 square foot facility right across the street because we were blowing the walls out. It was so packed. Now we actually need an even larger gym, which we're looking for now. We're thinking about bringing on a really, really big investor who's a very close friend and one of our athletes. I don't want to put all the information out there yet, but we've got really cool things going on behind the scenes. And we train everybody. That's the thing about Perform. We're very eclectic. A lot of people put all their eggs in one basket. There's a lot of very successful teams or gyms, but they only do one thing. There's places in South Florida, like our competitors, that are very good at pre-draft prep. There's places that are very good at NFL offseason, but they're not good at youth. They're not good at high school. They're not good at adult fitness. They're not good at the one-on-one. They're not good at rehab. We're good at everything. And that's not me being, conceited. That's me being confident. We are good at everything.
That's strong right there. I like what you said, not being conceited, being very confident. Let's dig into right now those different practices. I want to know a little bit more. So, like, you're saying you're doing specific things for specific muscles.
And not even muscles, no, demographics of people. So we have an SPG group. Mm-hmm. SPG stands for Sports Performance Group. That is middle school and high school athletes. Okay, and that trains Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. The first hour is speed, agility, change of direction. And the second hour is resistance training, strength training. All right, so that's more of our middle school, high school. We also have another group. It's called ASP, which is Adult Sports Performance. So, you guys in this room right here, you basically did it at Elevate. It's just, in my brain, a new and improved program. Something that is just, flawless. You know what I mean? We've been working on it forever now. And that right there, we have, maybe 100 adult fitness clients, what we call them sports performance clients, in that group. Then we have our college off season, so kids that come down for the summer. And that's not just football. That's, women's lacrosse, women's soccer. That's men's lacrosse, basketball. We have our NFL off-season group, which is going on right now. And we've got, really, really big names in this group this year. We got Dalvin Cook. We've got Tua Tagovailoa. We've got J.K. Dobbins. We've got really big names. We do our NFL pre-draft prep, which is like combine training. And that's usually an 8 to 10 week period at the start of the year. We do off-site and on-site team training. So like Cypress Bay football team comes to our gym and works out with us. And then we go off-site and train, West Broward High School or St. Thomas Aquinas. I mean, we do a lot of things. We have a lot of moving parts going on. And the way that we keep track of that is I have someone on the staff that is in charge of SPG. I have someone that is in charge. They're they're basically the overseer of these sectors of the company. And if their sector is doing well, they get a bonus. You know what I mean? It's all incentive based. My whole philosophy with the gym and with business really is, I don't want to make money off of you. I want to make money with you.
Yes.
Let's make money together. You know what I mean? Because I was on the other side of that coin. When I was training at another facility, way back in the day, I kind of got screwed. When I was really, really, really busy, my pay structure turned to a salary. And when I was super slow, we're going to go to commission. But what do you mean? That's not how this works. And that was one of the reasons why I left that facility and opened up Elevate. So, a lot of things that I learned, like how does an employee want to be treated? Like I like to be treated a certain way. I'm going to treat my employees that way. And it's been like that. Our staff has been intact since day one. No one's left, and everyone's just steadily grown.
Wow. It's funny, you just struck a chord with me, that last sentence, because that was something that I held so dear to myself on the entrepreneurship journey, was that you don't lose anyone on this boat. The door is always wide open,
Yep.
and it's right there, and you can walk out whenever you like.
100%.
But at the same time, I never lost anyone. And the day that we had to, due to financial reasons, had to let go of people, I I, I wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how to conceptualize that. But that's so cool how you're running this organization. It's so scalable, it sounds like.
Yes and no. The hardest part about the gym business is people, the trainers. You need good quality trainers that have an understanding and a knowledge of training, and that can, narrow somebody's assessment and really get them results. But they also have to care. They got to be punctual. They've got to. There's just so many intangibles that you really can't teach. So it is scalable, yes. I don't think that PER4ORM, in my mind, is going to be in every city in the country. Like batch is different. Like it's a recipe. Hey man, Danny, here's the recipe. This is how we make our cookies. Make the cookies in Tallahassee. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I want to talk about that.
Okay,
but
but the gym is not like that. My thought process for the gym would be maybe 1, 2, 3 locations, but with a core sector of the trainers. So, like, for example, Talon takes West Palm Beach. You know what I mean? And then Daryl takes, Fort Lauderdale, so on and so forth, right? Like, that's kind of what I think we could do. But if someone in San Diego said, hey, man, I love the PER4ORM concept, I want to open up one up right here on the beach, I don't know how that's going to work.
There's so many different ways to slice and dice it, like you said. And I feel like the word that should have came out was, you have so much momentum.
Yes.
And that's what you have. The scalability, I love that word because it means growth in my eyes. But you have so much momentum right now, that sounds like, because right now it doesn't need to go to every city in the United States. It needs to focus on perfecting the formula of how you could impact right this second, right now. And so for that, are you going in every single day and doing your training and then looking at the business? How are you running the business and being in the business?
So, yeah, I mean, I am very busy as well, but I pick and choose kind of what I want to do. Like, I haven't done an adult fitness class in forever, and if I do, it's because I need to pick up a shift because someone's on vacation. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Or pick up a class if someone's on vacation. Not that I don't want to do it, I just don't need to anymore because I have built a trust in my staff to get the job done. And they're doing it better than I think I could do it right now. You know what I mean? They're doing it on all levels. But my day is actually really, it's fun, man. I enjoy it. Like someone said, oh, you don't have to train as much. You're right, but I love it. I love this shit. I love training people. I'm 7 in the morning. I'm at Tua's house at 7 a.m. every single day, and then I go to the field at 8:30 or at 9 to train my NFL guys from 9 to 10:30. Then I have another one-on-one with Rashad Perriman at 10:30 to 11:30 at the field. Then I go back to the gym. I get a quick bite. I work out with my boys. I got 4 or 5 homies that are all business owners as well that work out at 12:30. We work out. We have a good time. I hang out. I change my shirt. I just relax for a little bit, and I train 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's kind of my day. And yes, it's busy, but I love it.
That's amazing. And your business is running because your staff is doing their job.
100%.
You can be able to act like that.
100%. I mean, Danny, I don't know 50% of the clients in the gym. I don't know them because I'm not around them, like adult people, that come into the adult classes in the early morning and the afternoons. I didn't sell them. I didn't pick up the phone to get them in there. I didn't sign them up when they loved the class. I don't know them, but they know everyone. They know all the other trainers, and the trainers know them, and it's just, it's great. I meet a new person in there every single day, and it was never like that.
And that's the cool part of
like at Elevate, I had to know every single person. I had to, because that's what I was doing. I was in charge. I was micromanaging a couple trainers because I had to know. I had to know this guy and this guy. I had to make this call. Okay, somebody called, wants to buy a package, let me sell it. I only know how to do it. It's not it anymore. I have an entire staff that can do everything that I do.
The last question I have on that, and then I want to dive in a little bit about what it's like to train a professional athlete. But it's, it sounds like you pretty much were able to delegate now and replace yourself.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what a business owner, if they really want to get to the next level, needs to do.
Yep.
They need to replace themselves.
100%.
And you're running this organization. So now you could focus on doing what you love, what you explain, and that is inspiring to me because every single day you're waking up less, I could tell, and all of a sudden you just know exactly what you're doing. You have your schedule set, and you attack the day. Now, what's it like working with a professional athlete?
It honestly, it's the same as working with anybody. It's just a more of an elite session. I don't have to get to the fundamentals and the basics. I mean, I can just kind of jump to other things, and you know, it's honestly, it's not that big of a difference. Where I think I excel with pros is I study their game. I like to watch them play, whether it's highlights or on TV or even just past sessions that we've done, and kind of see where the weaknesses are, because at that level, it's very, very marginal. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about the best of the best. So how do you make the best better, right? It's eliminating one extra step in a cut, or making a stride 2 inches longer in a burst, so on and so forth. And I think I'm very good at that because I'm very detail oriented. So when I got a guy like Dalvin, and I got a guy like Devin Singletary, and I got a guy like J.K. Dobbins all in one group, I can sit here and say, all right, Dalvin, I think you're really, really good at this, but I think we can get better at that. Motor, you're really good at what he's not good at, but there's another thing here that I think you can work at. And then JK, let's do this, let's do that. Like, I want your focus to be here. I can really break it down for them. And these guys have been playing football their entire lives. They're real. They know what they need to work on. And the fact that I can tell them, they're like, oh, shit, all right. This dude knows what he's talking about. And then I get in there and I do the drill, just like it's supposed to look. They're like, oh, shit. Okay. He not only does he know how to do it, but he can actually do it.
Practice what he preaches.
So, I think that to me is where I excel. I think that's one of my gifts. I'm good at breaking things down and explaining, and then not only just explaining it, but showing it. But when people are like, oh, you train these big name guys, and to me, it's like, I don't know. It's not like that.
It's not that.
If LeBron James walked through the door, I'd probably be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
LeBron James. But, and no offense, I mean, Dalvin, I've been watching Dalvin forever, and J.K. I've watching forever. Tua, I've been watching, since he threw a touchdown pass in the national championship to beat Georgia. Like, I remember all those moments, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. But when you get around them, man, they're there for a reason, and that reason is, hey, look, let's get better. Not to just talk football and kind of be fanboy on them. You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, people have to realize that it's just another human being.
100%. Another client that we got to get working. We got to get working.
So, I'm curious, beyond the celebrity status of those types of people, what is it that you're seeing with their skill set, besides being so elite? What is it with their mentality that makes them great?
It has a lot to do with daily routines. And it's weird too, because the past two off seasons have been crazy because of the pandemic, because of COVID.
Right.
Like, last year's off season was 3-4 months longer than it should have been. This year's probably going to be the same. So it's really, to us, it's like we really don't know what's going to happen. Okay, hey, when are you going back? I don't know. They said March 3rd. The other guy's like, shoot, March. Well, I mean, May 3rd. It's like, May. They told me April. So it's like no one has any idea, but it's kind of like, all right, well, we don't really know what's going on. Let's control the controllables. Let's just keep getting better every single day, right? And so it's their mentality of like, we don't really have much, but all we gotta do is just focus on getting better. But the cooler thing that I think is something that really sticks out to me is the camaraderie that they build amongst each other, and they hold each other accountable.
I like that.
Like, we'll look around the room and two will be like, hey, where's JK at? And I was like, I don't know, man, let's call him. Let's FaceTime him. And JK, man, get out of the bed. I see you're sleeping. Get up. And he'll get out of the bed and he'll show up. You know what I mean? It's like they hold each other accountable. They don't even really know each other. They know of each other because they play in the same organization. Mm-hmm. They're not in the same teams. They're actually opponents. But when it's training, we're a team. I think that's super cool. That's something that I think that I've seen that really makes me sit back and say, man, that was pretty awesome.
It's like that's the human way, where it comes down, like when I'm growing up, I'm looking at two sport teams like freaking enemies.
Yep.
And you're trying to tell me that these elite players are,
they're boys, man. The
outside of all this
boys,
little,
yeah. Because again, like, this is your team. This is your team for right now.
It's special to see, and it's nice to see them succeed, and obviously a lot of people don't get that opportunity in life, but it shows that there's many different ways to succeed in life.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be, being in that organization and everybody looking up to you as a celebrity. So it should inspire you that people like Nick, was able to create such an amazing life for himself. And he's not in the NFL, but look, he's working around the NFL athletes like it's normal, because it is.
Yeah.
So, I think I really want to understand now a little bit more about this other business you got.
Yeah.
I have a nickname, Nick, I call myself called Danny Desserts.
Okay.
And trust me, I know about this business. I've experienced this business. This is, I would say, different than the fitness business. This is the life sweet, beautiful, put a smile on anybody's face business.
Yeah, man.
This is the cookie business. Talk to us about becoming the co-founder of this batch cookie.
Man, so it's honestly crazy. It happened so fast.
Uh-huh.
But the idea of it started maybe 5-6 years ago now. Maybe 6 years ago now. So my business partner with the cookie shop, his name is Adam August. He is the main operations of Batch. He is the brainchild of Batch. He is Batch. I'm just helping him build it. It's my brain set, right? So 6 years ago, he was my roommate. You might know Adam August through Elevate, probably. You might have met him at the gym. He used to work out there.
Okay, yeah.
So we were sitting on the couch, and I would bake cookies. Believe it or not, little break-and bakes, whatever it was, I would make cookies every single night. Like, everyone's like, this fucking trainer, man, he eats cookies every night, and he still has a six-pack. What's up with that?
With the ice cream in the middle, too?
No, so yes and no. But I'd get the break and bakes, but I also get like the tubs where you just scoop it and scoop and bake, right? But I'd put like a piece of Kit Kat in the middle or an Oreo in the middle, so I'd just kind of spice them up. And he'd smoke a shit ton of weed, get high, and be like, dude, these are the best cookies ever. Oh my God, we should build a cookie shop. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Literally just like as a joke.
Yeah.
So 6 years later, he calls me. He's like, hey man, I actually recently just lost my job in San Francisco working for a tech company. And he's like, I'm thinking of moving back down to South Florida. I was like, dude, that sucks, but awesome. Sounds good. So he's like, yeah, man. And I was like, what are you going to do? He's like, well, I'm going to open up that cookie shop that we talked about. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like, what did you learn about, like, why cookies? And he goes, well, man, I just saw that Krispy Kreme Insomnia Cookies sold to Krispy Kreme for $500 million. He's like, and I think I can do a better job. And I was like, all right, then do it. And he's like, well, you're going to do it with me. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, bro, if I'm doing this and I come back to South Florida, you're doing it with me. And I was like, all right, done, say less. And that was it. That was the whole conversation. The very next day, I was looking at spaces for the cookie shop. The next day, I was looking at 3 different spots for the cookie shop. And that following week, he flew down. We went to dinner. We were like, all right, cool. So we're going to do a cookie shop. We have no name. We have no logo. We don't have cookies. We have no chef. We have nothing. So we sat down at dinner. We figured out the name. We drew up a little logo. And moved on to the next, the next issue, which was no cookies, right? You have a cookie shop with no cookies. That's an issue. So Adam went on LinkedIn and he emailed 10 chefs, and only one emailed back. And it was like the shot-in-the-dark chef that we thought would never respond. His name is Chef Max Santiago. He was the co-founder of the Salty Donut in Wynwood. He is known as the Donut King in Miami. He has opened up multiple donut shops throughout the entire world. We're talking about Saudi Arabia. We're talking about Haiti. We're talking about everywhere. He's opened up a donut shop. So we met with this guy, talked to him for 4 or 5 hours, explained to him our pitch, let him know what our idea was. And at the end of it, he was like, you know what? I'm in. Let's do it. And, I mean, shoot. After that, we rented out space in this little, like, commercial kitchen and started baking cookies. And they were not good at first. We had some weird textures and, different kind of ideas. And it just wasn't good at first. But we narrowed it down to a solid 9 cookies, and we had a friends and family tasting. Our friends and family would tell us whether or not these are good or not, right? So we had that, and it was a hit. People loved them. And then after that, we had a soft opening of the shop, and then a grand opening, and then boom! Now all of a sudden we're opening our second location up a year and a half later in Plantation, and we're inside 50 days. So it moved fast. We built a really, really good following. I think that's why Adam wanted to bring me on board, not only because we were really good friends, but he knew that, I knew a lot of people, and especially in Fort Lauderdale and Broward County. So if there's any place that you'd want to open a cookie shop, it'd be Fort Lauderdale, and he wanted me to be his partner. So, I do the marketing, I do the social media, I do the content creation. That is more of my forte. Used to do a lot of event planning, but right now there's not really too many events going on, obviously. And then, Max is the brains behind the recipes. And then Adam is the operations guy, and he has done an amazing job. I've never seen anybody move this quick with businesses. Like I said, we opened up our first location in 6 months. I don't know anyone that's ever opened up, and that's through construction. That was construction, permitting, that was product testing. 5-6 months we were open selling cookies.
Business licenses, everything.
Everything,
Food license,
everything, man. He was a monster, and he killed it. And he's done nothing but push us in the right direction for the second store, and we're ready for it, And then third store, hopefully, end of this year.
You said something that I want to bring up because this is a huge thing in business. Everyone needs to hear this. Data. Data is king and queen.
Yep.
And you could study data so you could know what to do. Talk to us a little bit about the data. Like, when you said data, what are you looking for?
So, data in what regard, though? So there's multiple things. So first of all, looking at the market. Okay, like we've got Insomnia cookie that has $1.25 cookie that they're okay. They're good, late night when you're drunk. But they just sold to Krispy Kreme for $500 million. Like, the numbers that's crazy, right? What if we did something that we could do, we made a better cookie, and this cookie is not only $1.25, but it's $4, but it's also 3 times the size, and it's more of a gourmet feel. And let's try to make this entire idea better. But when you're looking at, what do you mean data, though?
So when I say data, because someone like me with a numbers guy,
yeah.
So I'm looking at data. I'm looking at like KPIs. I'm looking at like key point indicators, meaning like, okay, we had this many, and I know you said you were the business guy. When you said data, I hit with like, okay, I had this many sales, so I see, and this much people ordered from Uber Eats, and this much people from delivery door, and then this much people ordered from went into the actual location, and now I see this, now I know I can market here because people are more susceptible. So like that type of analysis.
So Adam is more of that guy, but I have information for you. He probably has every decimal for you. But the numbers actually came into play because obviously during a pandemic, the goal was to make as much money as possible and spend the least amount as much money as possible, right? So before the pandemic, when we were open for like 5 months, and we had 2 people on staff. We were open until 3 o'clock in the morning. The labor hours were through the roof. It didn't make sense for us. When the pandemic came, it forced us to actually lock our doors and put in a slide-up window so that we were a takeout location.
Wow.
So now it's actually completely shifted the entire paradigm of the company. We used to be a walk-in. Oh, we're going to have, bags of flour here and like a whole display here and make it have like a little warm, cozy feeling. Not anymore. Now it's just a walk-up window that says order here. And that's what it is. We're all about speed. So we cut our labor down to 1 person because now we don't need a person at the front and, at the register and then someone in the shop. The register is in the shop, And it just made us just move so much more efficiently. It made us figure out ways to be quicker. It made us figure out ways to eliminate errors. You know what I mean? In the cookie business, that's really it. Like people want to get in, they want to get their dessert, they want to get out. I'm not going to wait in line 20 minutes for a cookie. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do that. So 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe outside of a restaurant to get a table. But I'm standing to just grab a cookie and go. So we do get this line at the window, but it's fast moving.
So with the cookie business, I'm not going to hold you to telling us every flavor. I just want people to be mouth-watering and then go ahead and order everything after this show. So what do we got? What's on the menu?
So we'll just go right down the line. We have our classic chocolate chip, which is our OG chocolate chip, man. It's a vanilla dough with a Valrhona chocolate and a little Maldon sea salt on top. We have an apples and oats, which is a spiced dough with caramelized apple filling, rolled in oats. Very, very good if you like an oatmeal cookie. We have a Fun Fruity, which is a sugar dough with Fruity Pebbles swirled inside and sprinkles on the outside. It's very, very rich sugar cookie. We have a Cookies and Cream, which is a double dark chocolate dough filled with a homemade Oreo cream cheese, top of the chocolate ganache. That one's a fan favorite. That's something you'd like to share because it's very, very rich. We have 3 vegan and gluten-free options as well. They're amazing. We have our blueberry lemon swirl, which is probably one of my favorite cookies. It's a lemon zest dough with a blueberry compote.
Are you guys shipping?
We do not ship. No, we're trying to figure out the process behind that. I say one thing that we do very well is we don't stretch ourselves too thin. We're very busy in the shop and trying to build our second one. So right now, our shop's 500 square feet. We can only make an X amount of cookies daily.
Fair enough.
So I don't even know. We'd have to figure it out. We'd have to get a commissary kitchen, and it would just be a whole lot more.
So what are we going for? Are we going for the 500 million? Are we going for the
Yeah,
bill?
no.
Which one?
$500 million.
All right,
Yeah.
500 million.
We'd probably sell it at 100 mil.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll probably sell it at 100
million. You guys heard it first, all right? And
Yeah.
any investors, anybody who hears this show, this is something I actually throw a little twist in there that I'm bringing on winners. So if you guys are, looking at winners, call Nick.
Call me.
So Nick, call you maybe, right?
Yeah.
So the batch business, you're enjoying it. It puts a smile on your face. I want to talk a little personal with you real quick.
Yeah.
I talk a lot about this, is the mind-body-soul connection. To me, you're a beast. You said you're disciplined with your time and how you wake up. You're consistent with working out. Talk to us about how you stay sharp.
Routine. You just nailed it. It's routine. 5:30 a.m. workout. I need breakfast and coffee.
Okay.
Every single day. If I don't have breakfast or coffee, man, my mind's somewhere else. And then I just keep things moving. I also like to stay ahead. I'm not a huge planner and planning months ahead, weeks ahead.
Okay.
A week ahead is good for me because things can happen. But just create a routine. And once you start to get on a routine, then you hold yourself accountable to it. If that routine is just making sure you wake up at 5:30 and making your bed, if you wake up and it's 5:45, you hit the snooze, and guess what? Now you don't have time to make your bed. Now your whole routine's threw off. So once you get a routine, then you really start to see crazy change in your life because accountability becomes important.
So over the past decades, you've maintained a lot of physical fitness. And, because you were an athlete, of course, and then now it became your career. What do we say to people about physical fitness? What's the importance of it?
Patience. You've got to be patient with results. That's the thing about exercise and fitness. It takes about 8 weeks to see results, but you can lose results in the course of 7 days.
Wow.
Which is why it's very, very disheartening for people. I've been going so hard for 6 weeks and I haven't seen any change, and oh my God, yada yada yada. Well, look, 2 more weeks, keep going, you're gonna start to see some change. But nine out of 10 people fall off the boat. Then you got to flip of it, right? I've been working out so hard for 6 months, and the damn pandemic came, and now I can't get in the gym, so I'm just gonna sit in the house, and you lose everything. Now it's like, shit, man, I don't want to get back into shape. I'll never get back to where I was. But it's patience. It's all about being patient, and also you got to enjoy it. Do activities. It doesn't have to be lifting weights. It doesn't have to be that. If you like to play basketball 3 times a week in a men's league. If you like playing volleyball, there's sand volleyball teams and clubs everywhere in Fort Lauderdale. Jump on that. If you swim, go swim. If you want to ride your bike, ride your bike. Mountain biking is amazing. There's great trails in South Florida. There's no excuse for people to not have something to do fitness-wise.
And what's the science? What's the importance of it?
The importance of working out, number one, so resistance training, not only does, and I say resistance training, we're talking about lifting weights, okay? Not like a strength guy, like a weightlifting team, but dumbbells, just using weights. It increases bone density, it decreases fat, increases cardiovascular endurance, increases cardiovascular health, increases endorphins, it makes you happier. Studies have shown that when you are done working out, you actually feel euphoria. There's countless numbers of things that are benefits to working out. I don't think there's any negatives to exercise. And if there is, it's probably because you're going too hard. There are people that are addicted to working out and that work out 4 or 5 times a day, and that's detrimental to the body. But, exercising for 30 to 45 minutes a day, there is zillions of things that it can help with you, not only, but like you said, mind, body, and soul.
So, for people, what are some tips, meaning working out wise? How should we attack it? I know everybody's
Yeah,
different,
of course.
every age, every goal, but
Yeah.
how do you think we should attack it?
So again, finding number one thing is find something that you like to do.
Okay.
Okay. I like to go run. I like to go lift. I like to do an aerobics class. Okay. That's the number one thing. The second thing is you have to find an accountability partner. So work out with a partner. Like Danny, if you and I become, hey man, we're gonna work out on Monday at 8 a.m. All right, it's Monday 8 a.m. We work out. We killed it. We pushed each other. Great. All right, man. I'll see you tomorrow Tuesday. Right? Tuesday 8 a.m. Right? Now you're like, shit, I didn't plan on going again, but, Nick's going now, so, all right, I'm going to go. So I force you to get into this routine. So it's find something you like to do, and then find a partner, all right? And then also set reasonable expectations for yourself. Set reasonable goals. Don't say I want to lose 50 pounds in a month. It doesn't work that way. Set tangible goals. And goals that you can crush within, a 30-day period. Set a new one, and set a new one, and set a new one. So those are the three things. Those are the three key markers to starting and establishing, and then also following through with a healthy lifestyle.
So I want to ask you this. We talked a lot about you being very successful. I also seen you very happy and confident. What's your take on how you're so happy and how you're so confident?
This guy don't give a shit what people say. I just don't give a fuck what people say. To be honest, man, it doesn't matter. Being very, very in tune with myself and knowing I have my flaws, and there's things that I don't like about myself. But at the end of the day, there's just so much more to Nick Hicks and to life. And so many people are going through way worse things than I am. Why could I sit here and throw my own little pity party? You know what I mean? So those are two things: not feeling sorry for myself, and then also just not giving a shit what people say.
How'd you build that skill set of one, not giving a fuck what people? And maybe I'll scratch that out.
No, not giving a shit.
Yeah,
my bad. I cussed.
Yeah,
I apologize.
Me too. I'll cut that out.
Yeah.
But how do you create the skill set? How'd you create the skill set for yourself where you truly weren't worried about other people's opinions, and you were able to wipe things off after they tried to knock you down?
Well, I used to care. That's the thing. I used to care about it. I had an older brother that would pick on me all the time, and that would suck. I had an older brother that would embarrass me, in front of other people. But that's just brother stuff, But then once you start to say, you know what, it doesn't matter anymore, and people know that, and people ought to see that you actually don't care when they tear you down, they stop doing it, and it no longer becomes a thing. It's almost like, law of attraction, right? Like if people see that what they say affects me, it's going to keep coming. But if they see that it just rubs off my shoulders and just runs down my back and I don't care, then they move on to the next person. You know what I mean? They really don't care. Being confident is a decision. It's not really like something that you learn to do. You just one day say, you know what, I'm done. I'm done with that. You know what I mean? It's just you made the decision one day to say it's not going to affect me anymore. And I'll be honest with you, man, I wasn't picked on as a kid. I wasn't bullied. That wasn't, that wasn't my path. I'm not going to sit here and say that was it. I was always a very outgoing kid, a confident kid. And that was because I chose to be. Like I said, it's the decision,
I think that taught me a lot right there. It was a decision you chose to be, and you weren't going to pity party. You know that life's short, and you know that I'm going to be my full authentic self in this life, and that's it.
100%.
There's nothing about it.
And if you want great things in life, you have to step out of your comfort zone, and you've got to go do things that others won't, that are scared to do, that are embarrassed to do. You know what I mean? You've got to say fuck it. Like I said, I apologize for cussing.
No, that's what you got to do sometimes. And that's to get the point across. So, another big arena of life I want to ask you about is relationships. And I don't talk about any of your personal relationships. I'm talking whatever you want to talk about, but more about the importance of relationships beyond, for connections, like you said, with old teachers, relationships with friends, everybody in South Florida, relationships with a significant other, your family. Talk to me about your take on relationships.
I'm very big in relationships. Some of my best friends are friends that I've had since kindergarten, that I've known since, the first days that I can remember. I have a lot of friends. I like to be around a lot of people. And I think that developing relationships with other people is a great way to learn more about yourself. You know what I mean? And then relationships with people that have like minds. You know, a lot of my friends are business owners. A lot of my friends are doing things like you. Like, for example, like, you've got so much going on, man. You know, like, I want to be around that. You know, so choosing the proper relationships. Relationship with my girlfriend. I've had a girlfriend now for a year and a half. Her name is Janessa. She's amazing. Her and I did not, like, it was crazy, right? Like, I always tell everyone, like, if you're out there looking and you want to find a girlfriend or you want to find a boyfriend, you know, you've got to kind of pump the brakes on that and let things happen organically. You know what I mean? I tell people all the time, you know, if I told you to go outside right now and find money on the ground, you're not going to come back with money. But one day you're going to leave this place and you're going to find $100 bill, right? But you just got to be aware enough to pick it up. You know what I mean? You know, so if you're searching for something, you're going to force something, and it's not going to be what's for you. You know, but if you're kind of just doing your daily, and you're aware of something that could be good, take a chance at it, you know? So Janessa actually saw a picture of me on the Batch Cookie Instagram, and decided to come from Miami, from Palmetto Bay, 60 miles away, to come to the shop to meet me, and I wasn't there. You know, Adam was working the shop that day. So she ended up, like, posting on Instagram, and Adam said that, oh, this chick just came to the shop, yada, yada, yada. So then we connected on Instagram, and we went out that next day. You know, so it really wasn't like, you know, I was on dating apps and I was, like, you know, trying to holler at chicks. No, it wasn't like that. It was like, oh, shoot, this girl came by asking about me. Yeah, let's go on a date. And that was it. And, you know, I mean, she has taught me a lot about relationships, patience, being patient and having patience, and really thinking before I speak, because I do speak my mind a lot, and sometimes women don't want to hear certain things. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of pick and choosing my words, man. But yeah, I mean, relationships, whether it's, you know, with my parents, whether it's with best friends, or whether it's my girlfriend, you know, extremely important to me. You know, I feel like that's what I'll look back at, you know, when I'm 90 years old, and think about the times I had with friends and the conversations I had with friends and the things I did with my mom and dad. And, you know, that one time Janessa and I went on this vacation and it was amazing. You know, to me, that is what life's all about. You know, it's not about making money and buying this and buying that. It's really about how you affected people and how people impacted you.
Yeah, you said so many things there too that I want to point out. Is one, you surrendered to, like, the forcing of life. You went into the flow state. So, you know what, I'm gonna focus on being the best version of myself. I'm gonna do what I need, and I'm gonna let things come to me in life.
100%.
The abundance mentality,
100%.
the love frequency. That's one thing I wanted to commend you on. And number two, when you brought up the relationship with your girl, one thing that actually, you know, ruined one of my relationships through, you know, having to grow was not speaking my truth enough. So it was like the opposite of what you know were doing, where I was actually not communicating well enough, where I was letting things. This happened in my relationships in business. This happened in my relationships with females. This happened in my relationships with my family, where I would hold on to things and put and because of things that hurt me, and not just let it out. And would you say, you know, you're someone who's been so confident in life, and like you said, wipe things off and not let it. And I could talk offline about why I rationalize how the story in my head got to me, but, you know, I guess my question was to you about knowing when to
Just let it go.
when to
Shake it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a short-term memory, man, and it's a selective memory. You know, like Janessa, for example, if I said something 5 weeks ago, like, she's gonna pull up the text, the receipt. You know, so you did say it, and I was like, well, I don't remember that. I'm not worried about an argument we had, you know, a month ago. I'm not worried. I've already forgotten it. You know, like, let's get over it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very good at keeping things, you know, that we've resolved, and not going back into it. You know, but like I said, sometimes I do say things that are hurtful and that are a little bit, you know, abrasive, and, you know, I think that comes into play or is because of who I am as a coach. Sometimes I say things that, you know, I'm trying to bring the best out of you. You know, I might be a little mean. I'm sorry, but, you know, I'm not trying to tear you down. I think that you could do this better and you could be better here, you know, and sometimes people need to hear it a certain way in order to actually do stuff.
You said right.
You know?
Say in a
Coaching.
certain way. You can say the same thing. It's just about how you say it, and that can teach you so much in life.
Agreed.
You know, would you also say, you know, on that note, actually, it was funny. I was just I was just having my train of thought with that was the last thing you were saying. You were about speaking your truth.
Yep.
It'll come back to me.
Yep.
Relationships. We talked about mind, body, soul. We talked about happiness. Talked about confidence. Where are you going? What are you have a final why? Your purpose. What's the big vision for Nick Hicks?
I would say that, we're looking at this 10, 15 years down the road. I'm hoping and praying we've sold batch for zillions. And I don't have to work, but I do see myself not staying away from the gym. I love it. I love being there. What I'm really passionate about is teaching and molding trainers and molding athletes. So I could see maybe like a Perform University type deal where, like trainers from all over the country, come and they want to learn. They want to learn, phase 1 through 10, and it's maybe a 10-week course. I don't know. Maybe there's something along that line, but I would love to teach. I post, stuff on Instagram all the time, and trainers all over the place like, hey, man, when's the workshop? I'd love to come learn, and I would love to teach. I really would, because, I feel like, that's how you leave a legacy. That's how you leave this mark on earth and on people, because, I could, if I die with all this knowledge in my head and all this experience in my head, but I haven't taught anybody anything, that to me, that's not a life well lived. It's more so sharing my knowledge and sharing my experience and helping future trainers down the line, whether it's, a competitor, or even if it's somebody, who's training his son in Minnesota because he wants his son to, play ball, and there's no facilities out there. You know what I mean? So sharing knowledge and sharing a wealth of knowledge is what I'm passionate about, and what I can see myself doing, when I'm older and I can't move and run and jump and cut and do the things that I could do today.
Yeah, the vibes I'm getting from you right now is you remind me of like the new version for fitness of Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
You have that same confidence. You have that same big vision as him, and you're gonna end up becoming like a huge force in this evolution of sports, fitness, and even in, and like you said, just helping people grow. And that's kind of the vibes I'm
That's my
seeing.
goal. That is my goal.
So, and that's why one of my last questions for this show, and it's been an amazing time, so thank you, Nick, is you've been a master of creating your personal brand over the past decade. And what are some tips, and what do you feel like the importance of building this brand, not for ego, but for reach and impact?
Valuable content. Valuable content. So when I'm on Instagram or on Twitter or on whatever, the posts that I stop scrolling for are content that I can learn from, that I, can take something away from. It's not a picture of somebody just hanging out on a boat, with a bottle of Moet. You know what I'm saying? It's, whether it's a motivational quote, whether it's, an instructional video on how to do something, those are the posts that I stop and look at and save and send and comment on. So I thought, why don't I start creating valuable content? I train all day, every day, and the stuff that I'm doing works. My athletes are getting better. Why not videotape it and post it? So number one is valuable content. The second thing is quality content. By quality content, I'm not saying that everyone has to hire a photographer and get a photographer to follow them around, but, it's got to be clean looking. It's got to be a clean feel. And then the third thing, consistency. You got to be consistent. You can't just post one nugget a week. You know what I'm saying? You got to put multiple nuggets back to back to back to back. And another, I guess you could say, an extra to that was, don't care about if it's not perfect. Don't care if you said something a little weird, or you fumbled up on your words, or, the rep wasn't perfect. It doesn't matter. That shows that it's real, and that it's an organic feel. Like, we're not trying to superimpose this perfection at Perform. Everyone still makes mistakes, and I'll fumble my words, and I'll say something, and, maybe I'll lose my train of thought, but who cares? I'm still going to post it. People are going to see it and feel that rawness. You know what I mean? I've actually gotten better at my personal brand over the last month, I would say.
Wow.
And that's strictly because I have learned how important it is with running batch and running perform. And I saw that both these social media platforms are growing, but they could grow faster if I would just start talking about them too on my personal, you know? So once, because I mean, I had X amount of followers, but my followers weren't following perform and they weren't following batch, but they followed me because I really didn't do much on mine, you know? So I started to really, really bolster perform, and I'd repost batch, and I would start to make it more of a, almost like I'm representing two businesses on my personal, and it's made both of them, all three of my accounts grow. So I'm not saying that's something you should do. I'm not saying go create 3 accounts and make them all work together, but it's something that I've learned in the past month, I'd say, that has helped not only grow my personal brand, but also the 2 brands that I own.
Thank you for that too, because
No
I'm
problem.
going to take that strategy after this session to my personal page, because I'm actually feeling the same exact way and want to talk to you about that, because I truly believe, like you said, if you're spreading a great message, your personal brand, whatever you stand for, it could be any subject, but from that subject you could actually spread awareness about other topics or businesses that you're associated with. So great
100%.
strategy, and thank you for telling us all that. And Nick, you're someone who's, I know for a fact, everyone could contest to this when they watch this show in a couple years from now, and they see where Nick Hicks is, and it's going to be someplace even bigger than he's at right this moment. What do you want for this world? What do you see for this world beyond just in your lens? Because a lot of things are going on.
That's an easy question, and it's actually something that is the slogan for the cookie company.
Okay.
And that's life is hard, be nice to people. You never know what someone's going through. You never know what someone's been through. And being nice is very easy. It doesn't cost you $1. It's not hard. Holding a door for somebody, saying hello to somebody, helping somebody open up their door, their trunk door when they're trying to put groceries in. It's not a difficult thing to do. If we can just be nice to people, man, that I would be very content. That's the message I want to spread. Life is hard. Be nice to people, and that's what we represent with the cookie shop.
It's really easier to be nice.
It's easy. It's so much. It takes less energy to be easy than mean.
And it actually shows you that the world kind of opens up to you
100%.
when you treat them
Yep.
how you want to be treated.
Yep.
And that's like, do you believe in the law of attraction, like you mentioned earlier?
I
Do you
do.
believe in manifestation? Do you
I
believe
do.
in you speak your words into existence?
I do.
Tell us a quick little synopsis. What do you think of that? Because that's getting big, and that's the direction I'm heading to.
So, again, it goes along the lines with, failure is not an option. That's more so where I believe all those philosophies come into play. Failure is not an option.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to hit bumps on the road, but if you know in your mind and you tell yourself that I cannot fail, I will not fail, then you won't. Then you will not. You will find a way. And that is by way of law of attraction. That is by way of being nice to people, doing things the right way. Because once you start to get negative thoughts into your mind, negative things happen. You know what I mean? If I start to think, oh my God, I got to figure out how to make, $10,000 more to pay my rent by the 30th, and I know it's a 10th. Like, what am I going to do? I can't do it. I might as well just file for bankruptcy and just forget this and find a new job. No, that's you're letting failure seep into your head. And once that happens, negative things happen. So just failure has never been an option for me within business, whether it was the gym, whether it was the cookie shop, whether it was just finding a way to get something done. If someone asked me to do something, it's going to get done no matter what. Does not matter. It's just not an option.
And that word, that's probably one of the most destructive words in the world, stress.
Mm-hmm.
How do you manage it? How do you, besides the physical exercise, the negative thoughts come in your head, like you said, and you just, like you said, you just let it go?
Yeah, so stress obviously gets everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually, when I'm stressed out,
Smile?
not even that. I just kind of just give myself space. I don't really have too many times in which I'm alone. I'm always around people, and I'm always high volume.
Yeah.
High energy. So when I'm stressed out, I can kind of feel it. I just kind of gotta just get away for a little bit, clear my head, and just figure out, okay, what do I need to do to get out of the hole? You know what I mean? Because when you're stressed, it's because you're lacking in certain areas.
Yep.
You're forgetting things. You're overloading your plate. So to me, in order to not allow stress to get to you, you've got to just slow down and compartmentalize things that need to get done. Okay, this isn't even important. Why am I worrying about that? I'll handle that next month. This right here, this needs to get done now. Let me get this. And as soon as you get that thing done, you feel better already. You're like, oh, all right. All right, so all I got to do is just focus and quiet my time and really, really look at my life and see what's important and what's not important. That's all I got to do? All right, cool.
What do you think about stretching? Because I'm someone who's doing that every day now. It's helping my life dramatically.
Yeah, so stretching is amazing. I would call it more of a mobility exercise these days, not really stretching. Unless you are doing like a static stretch. You're holding a pose for 30 seconds and whatnot. But I'm more so into corrective exercise mobility sessions, to where you're taking the joint through a range of motion, breathing through the range of motion, clearing your mind, relaxing your body. Because tight joints, let's just say you have tight feet, that's going to cause issues to your back. The entire kinetic chain is going to be affected by tight feet because everything's connected. Your muscles are like an interweb. They're all connected. So making sure that you're mobile from your ankles to your knees, to your hips, to your shoulders, to your elbows, to your trunk, to your wrists, to every little, space in between each vertebrae, that is extremely important. It will prevent from injuries, and will also allow you to move freely throughout daily life. Like, some people dread getting out of a chair because it hurts. Could you imagine if you didn't have to worry about getting out of a chair? If you just, I get out of a chair and I'll move on with my life. But people are so not stressed, but so worried about, oh my God, getting up, my knee, how am I going to, you know what I mean? Imagine if you didn't have to worry about that, because that's just a snowball effect. You start worrying about that, then you worry about, man, I got to walk over to the door, and then I got to get down these stairs, and stretching and making your joints mobile will make your life 1,000,000 times better. I mean, think about it. Like, our entire lives we've been mobile, but somewhere down the line we've been sitting in chairs and hunching over, desks and driving, and But as babies, man, I mean, when we're born, we can do the deepest squat. We can roll our head to the back. We can literally fall downstairs and be okay because our bodies are pliable. You know what I mean?
And as a fitness expert, do you have a body part that you say is the most important to focus on?
Yeah, I mean, and not a body part, but a region. I'd say the pelvic region, the pelvic girdle, your hip flexors, your hamstrings, your glutes.
Okay.
All that there, and then also your feet.
Okay.
Feet, hip flexors, hamstrings, glutes. That area.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Nick Hicks. Man, it was a pleasure having you on the show. The reason I'm saying it like this is because you have that energy. You carry that energy with you that it just gravitates to people, and people just want to know you. Who's Nick Hicks? What's he about? What is that? What is that? Just you? Is that your being? Is
That's
that your soul?
man. That's it. If you're juiceless, you're useless, bro. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have the juice. You gotta have the juice. You gotta be on. You gotta be cranked up on all cylinders all the time. People feed off of energy. I feed off of energy. You know what I mean? If I go into a place and it's super quiet and everyone's not feeling it, I get the hell out of there. You know what I mean? But I just always been like this. I've always been the life of the party. I've always been the guy who's just, you go somewhere and I need a volunteer. I'll do it. I don't even know what the hell it is, but I'll do it. I didn't, it's just who I've been my entire life. I'd say I was probably a terror as a kid, because I was so energetic. And I was always doing things and, running around the house and just jumping on couches and, pretending I was, some sort of actor doing something, just going crazy. But again, that's who I've been my whole life. So I don't know how to tell people to do it. I don't know how to channel it. I don't know, there's a recipe, but it's just who I am, brother.
Yeah, I love it. It's
Thank
like that.
you.
You're that supersonic, just going through life, and you're just bringing everyone with you, man. And you're definitely leading the way. I told you in the beginning of this episode that I was inspired by you because I really knew that you were gonna make something great because of who you were portraying. And like you said, what you act like, you become. What you think like, you become. And I appreciate what you're doing, and I'm gonna actually use you as like another inspiration for my next Jolton to hey, I want to start spreading this message. I want to be. I got Nick Hicks on Millionaire Voices. I got Eric Dunn coming. I got Zach Miller. I got maybe even Dalvin coming on this show. But I got people that are coming to spread a great message. And then what I'm gonna do is step into all right, I'm proud of this. I'm proud of spreading this message instead of, hey, I'm doing this to stay busy. because that's how I got into this game.
Yeah.
And now I realize, oh wow, I knew it was gonna stay busy and create something, but I didn't really understand. Now,
It's personal growth,
you
man.
gave me confirmation with this show was saying, wow, I just need to step into what he's saying.
That's it. This is personal growth for you, man. You know, being able to sit down and have conversations with people that you respect and admire, you know, that is awesome. You know, that shows that you're true to yourself, and you know you want to surround yourself with people that are like minded. And you know, I think that's amazing. You know, I would love to do a podcast. I don't even know where to start. I have no idea.
Oh, I can't wait for Nick Hicks' podcast.
Shoot.
So I'll say this to wrap up. Say something to that younger person from Nick Hicks, any piece of mentorship or advice that you think would resonate with them.
It's probably what I said earlier, man. Just stop feeling sorry for yourself and find a way. You know, there are so many ways to be successful. You know, and if you don't love something, don't do it. Don't be peer pressured into doing something that your mom wants you to do, your dad wants you to do. If it's not what you want to do, don't do it. Double down on what you're really good at and what you like to do, and then everything else will fall into play. Yeah, your mom and dad might be upset for a year, but guess what? Once they see that you're being successful within what you love to do, and it becomes something that, you know, is an actual hobby that you can monetize, because that's what's more important to mom and dads too. They want, how are you going to make money doing this? You know, but don't worry about the money at first. Worry about following your passion, becoming very, very invested in it, and becoming the best at it, and not letting any kind of hiccup or speed bump or anything, you know, in your way deter you from your end goal, and that is to becoming as successful as you can in whatever you love to do.
And you know that I'm going to put the links in every aspect of the way, but tell us where we could all find you.
You can find me at my personal, which is the Notorious Nick Hicks, spelled NOTORIOUSNIKHIX. And then my gym is PER4ORM, at PER4ORM, PER4ORM. And then the cookie shop is at Batch Cookie Co., BATCHCOOKIECO.
Everybody, go follow him right now. Thank you so much, Nick Hicks, co-founder of PER4ORM and co-founder of Batch Cookie. Go ahead and subscribe, because we need that.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for having me.